G'day, Bruce here. Well, I just had a request from a subscriber to ask me what I put into my little carb kit, my carb cleaning kit, right? It's just an old buck knife box. So the first thing we'll put in the bottom is just different sizes of sandpaper from 220 to 600. Just little pieces to buff up something or other or whatever, right? And then I keep a small bag of 4/0 steel wool, and what I do with this is I just clean the bottom of the carburetor bowls right in here, right in the bottom. Take the bowl off and clean it out, but I never ever do this around the carburetor. I do it off a few feet away because you don't want the fibers from the steel wool getting into the carburetor. So you do your job, you wash everything out, blow it with a air gun, and then that's what I use the steel wool for. So be careful with the steel wool. And then I guess I keep a golf tee in here. I used to use this to plug gas lines, but now I use my hemostats. I got that idea from Zippo Varga, good channel. A lot of the ideas you have, you can that are somebody else's, but you can still use them, right? And then I've got lots of little tubes for carb spray, carb cleaning spray. One has a 90, one has a bit of an angle, and some are straight. And then I got this one, I think from Boo Luquette. He told me to sharpen it like a pencil, so you can get it into the finer holes. For example, maybe something, ooh, no holes to do. Yeah, something like that. You can get it a little bit better stuck in there and it'll seal. Did you guys get that? I'll get rid of the other ones. You stick it in there and it's just been sharpened a little bit and it seals up a little bit better. Okay. A little paintbrush, so when you're spraying carb spray you can get the goo off, right? Goo is your biggest enemy. And goo is like grease from the motor. Now this is just a little handy tool I made for the spring on top of the points of a Briggs & Stratton. You push that down and put the wire in the top of the condenser and then pull this back. Let me just get that for you. Pardon me. And you guys know there's a tool for everything like this, right? Okay, so where's this thing? So here's your condenser for points on a Briggs & Stratton motor. There's the hole that the wire goes through, and there's the spring. And then if I use this just to compress the spring so I can expose that hole on the other side of the spring, you put the wires in and then you let that go again. And that's just a good set of old points there. That's what that's for. These, I started out with, I got a tip from Dave Ackerman. And when you're doing a Honda carburetor, sometimes you've got lots of levers and who's-its and what's-its to hold everything on there. You can use the dowels to go through the holes and hold everything, like the seals and the guards and the heat guards and all of that stuff that go back and forth, instead of using the actual bolts, because the bolts have heads on them. So then I got smart. I keep those, and I just took two from an old mower and I cut the heads off, and that's the same thing. So you can screw these into the block, and then you can suspend the carburetor from those. Now this is what everybody should have. It's a Tecumseh 670377 carburetor tool. This end puts the seat into the carburetor. This end pulls the seat out of the carburetor. This gauge right there, you see that flat gauge right there? That's the gauge for the float to the lip of the carb. And there's probably 400 other things it does too. A little piece of welding wire, 30 gauge. It's just perfect for getting into emulsion tubes and stuff. Just a little scraper and a poker. General purpose. Same with this. This is an old tool from my work, and I use that to pick goo out of spark plugs, or just to get into corners like that. A lot of the stuff you just think of and you make, eh? And then, if I can demonstrate this properly, if you look down in there, there's you see the emulsion tube? When you've got the bowl off and you've got the jet out, you can push the emulsion tube down with this little Allen key, and you just push it and it pops out the bottom. Sometimes they stick because you've got goo in the carburetor. Just another hook for hooking lines or anything from the modern fuel clamps, anything like that. This is just something this is like a 100-year-old thing, right? I just use it in my kit. Gotta have one of these. Ew. Same pick, right? Now this idea I did not make. I took this idea from Donny Boy 73. If any of you out there know who Donny Boy 73 is, or you don't know who Donny Boy 73 is, just go to his channel. He's got a fantastic channel. I use these for little pokers on the emulsion tubes. In fact, I might even, anything, jets, emulsion tubes, getting rid of plugged tiny holes. Those are pretty small. In fact, I might even just grab one. I'm just going to stop for just a second. Okay, here we go. We've got a carburetor. I just took the bolt out of the bottom. The bolt comes out, and then you take out the jet. This is a Honda carburetor. Just take this out all the way. I loosened everything up so it wouldn't take too long. And that should just fall out of there. That is the main jet, and that's usually what plugs. And it plugs in this direction. See that? Or on the big jet, you can have, this is a true Honda, so it's got lots of them. You've got all these jets going up, right? And this little wire guy gets in there and can clean each one. And I got these wires off my bench grinder. You know, a wire brush on a bench grinder? I just cut them off, stuck them in the end of a matchstick. It's brilliant. Thank you, Donny Boy 73. His channels, his videos are so accurate and so well done, it's just wonderful. And then for years, I just used wires. Okay, lots of this, just chunks of wire. This is telephone wire, right? For cleaning out the same kind of holes. And then just, I don't know, in the last 5 years, I've been using welding tip cleaners. Just sometimes on the small engines, like those new generators that have EPA regulations. If you just take it up one tiny step on a jet, for example, cleaning a jet and making it just a tiny bit bigger like that, but not much, not even enough to take some brass off, you can make it run just a little bit smoother. So I use those for years. Oops, something didn't feel right there. And then finally, I got some I got to be careful here. I got some I did lose one. I'll have to find it. I think that's it right there. Look at how small those bits are. Yeah, that one fell out. Okay, well, so these are just little tiny drill bits. And I use those for the same purpose. Now I just used a 70, so we'll see how that looks on the jet. No, the hole is too, see that would be too big. So that is a fantastic thing. And with that comes the handle to spin the bits, but I just use the end with my fingers like that, or on a pair of pliers. And then these are in here. Just before I got spline screwdrivers, I used to stick these little wire splicers onto the end of the splines on the screwdriver on the carburetor, two-stroke carburetors, to grab the spline and turn the spline. And a pin for poking. What else we got? That's it. So there we go. The little doctor kit. Didn't cost much. Thanks for watching this one, guys.